The casket hadn't even settled into the earth when a figure in a black suit stepped forward.
He wasn't there to grieve. He was there for me.
"Divorce papers," he announced, his tone slicing through the silence like a blade. "She gets the house, the business, and custody of your daughter."
A ripple of shock moved through the crowd.
My in-laws didn't bother to hide their amusement. They smirked, their muffled laughter cutting deeper than the sound of dirt striking my father's coffin. Then my daughter, the child I had raised, the one I believed knew my heart, shook her head.
"You never deserved her anyway," she muttered.
I signed the papers without a word, my hand steady, my face calm. And in that instant, I realized the burial wasn't just for my father. It was for the man I had been. 15 years earlier, she was my world. Her smile brightened the dullest corners of my life. Her touch steadied me when nothing else could. We built dreams side by side, long nights, whispered promises, a small business carved from our sweat and effort. I gave her everything, my trust, my legacy, my future. But love, over time, hardened into routine, and routine sharpened into a weapon. I should have seen the signs, the late nights at book club, the heavy silences over dinner, the way she recoiled when I reached for her hand. Her phone became a diary of secrets, always flipped face down when I entered the room. I told myself it was my father's illness clouding my thoughts, that grief was twisting me into paranoia. But truth leaves a trail, and hers was scattered everywhere. It wasn't a text, or a receipt, or a lipstick stain that betrayed her.
It was her laughter.
Not the hollow chuckles she gave me, but the raw, unguarded sound I heard through a cracked door.
She was laughing with another man. His voice was deep. Familiar. My business partner.
I didn't confront her.
Not then.
I let the betrayal sink into my bones, hardening me. I stopped begging for honesty. I stopped waiting for answers. I had something better, patience.
While they toasted my downfall, I drew the blueprint for theirs. The business came first. She thought she owned it all.
But years earlier, I had buried clauses deep in the contracts she never bothered to read. On paper, the company was hers. In reality, the debts were hers too. When the banks came, they wouldn't be knocking at my door.
Next was the house. She believed the mortgage had been cleared.
What she didn't know was that I refinanced it, layering it under shell accounts.
She wanted a home. I left her with a prison of endless bills.
Then came custody.
She thought using my daughter against me would crush me.
But teenagers are fragile, impressionable.
I didn't need to fight in court.
I just had to let her see her mother's mask crumble, piece by piece.
And finally, the in-laws.
They mocked me at my father's funeral, but their smiles would fade when the accounts they had siphoned from my business suddenly froze. Every cent clawed back through fraud investigations. Every signature she celebrated that day was the key to her undoing. 6 months later, she walked into the courthouse dressed in designer clothes bought with credit cards she couldn't pay. My former partner was nowhere to be seen, already consumed by an investigation he couldn't escape. My in-laws weren't there either, too busy groveling to creditors.
Only my daughter followed her in.
But her defiant eyes were gone. Now they were tired, older, carrying shame. She saw me across the hall and spat. "You ruined me." I stepped close, lowered my voice. "No. You ruined yourself." I only held up the mirror. Her hands shook as the judge read the decision. Bankruptcy filings accepted, custody reconsidered, assets seized. I stood steady, every move having unfolded exactly as I planned. When it was done, I walked into the cold air outside, free at last.
My daughter lingered at the doorway. She didn't run to me, not yet.
But she didn't turn away either.
For now, that was enough.
My wife had buried me with those papers at my father's grave. But I rose from it sharper, colder, untouchable. Betrayal has a price. And revenge, when delivered with precision, isn't anger.
It's art.